Good afternoon, everybody. Hope you guys are doing well. Hope you guys are staying safe. I just want to talk to you guys for a little bit about the fear of vulnerability. Now, I personally feel like the fear of vulnerability is the single greatest barrier to someone finding true, genuine, wholesome peace in their lives. I am someone who, at this point in my life, I have healed from all my trauma. You know what I'm saying? I have found peace and happiness in my personal life journey. Everything from what's happened to me to what's happening to what's to come. I've found the peace in that. And I am someone who is openly vulnerable. Now, what that means is if a stranger comes up on the street, they like, yo, Steve, what's good? Talk to me a little bit about your trauma, your pain, your suffering, and how you've been dealing with it and all that stuff. That's a conversation I can have very easily. It doesn't make me uncomfortable. It doesn't make me queasy. I can easily have that conversation. However, I am very aware that a majority of the people in this world are not on that type of time. Most people be like, I don't really feel comfortable having this type of conversation with you, sir. For whatever the reason may be. Trust me, I get it. Because I wasn't always this way. I was the polar opposite, if anything. Honestly, like, I didn't even talk about my trauma with my closest peoples because I was raised in a social structure that did not reward vulnerability at all. In fact, it preyed on vulnerability. If you talked about your feelings, if you said what was making you sad or upset, 9.5 times out of 10, you're getting clowned. You're getting you're getting jokes told on you, or somebody's coming at you with that trauma for whatever reason. You know what I'm saying? So I completely understand why people just aren't comfortable, you know. I get it, trust me. However, in my journey in finding my own peace, what I've come to learn is that vulnerability is the engine for the whole process. So without vulnerability, you will never find peace. I promise you. So you could be like, all right, Steve, okay, so how do I maneuver this vulnerability thing? How does it work? The first thing you want to do is learn how to be vulnerable with yourself. And the way you do that is to visit your trauma willingly. Now, if you think about it, the only other way we tend to visit our trauma is if we are triggered. And when you are triggered into your trauma, you don't have the mindset of, let me understand this, let me unpack this, let me see what I can learn from this. No, you're thinking that, you're going through the experience all over again because all the emotions of the experience are just coming back so quickly that you can't even think straight. You know what I'm saying? However, when you willingly visit your trauma, you are already predisposed to a mindset that I am here for a purpose. I'm here to unpack this trauma. I'm here to learn from it and understand it. I'm here to see what are the contents of this trauma box that has been haunting me for years. So you take your first trauma box and you open it up. And I promise you, what you'll find inside is essentially a whole armory of deadly weapons with your name engraved on them. Like literally, knives, guns, axes, bear traps with the engraving to use against Steve only. That's what you'll find in your trauma box. And it's very intimidating. Don't get it twisted. This is a very uncomfortable process. Promise you. However, I implore you to stick with it. Examine each weapon individually. Understand how this weapon came to be. Understand how the situation created this weapon and how it was meant to be used against you. And examine the material of the weapon. And I promise you, at some point while you're going through that process, you will recognize that you can easily snap these weapons in half. The material that these weapons have been made with can no longer hurt me because they were made to hurt somebody that I no longer am. And you start to feel like Superman, honestly. You're like, one by one, you're examining a weapon, you can rip through it like paper. And you're like, yo, what was I even scared of this whole time? So as you clear out all these weapons, what you find at the bottom of the box is the wisdom. Now you take the wisdom, put it in a little pouch, you put it in your pocket, and you know that you're going to move forward with this wisdom. Now you just have an empty box in front of you. So what do you do with it? You close it. You find your closure in the situation and you slide it to the side and move on to the next box. And that is the process. That's all it is. You just go through, find that you could, break and rip up these weapons, get the wisdom, find your closure, move to the next box. Sooner or later, you're going to run out of boxes. Now, the next step is learning how to be vulnerable with other people. Now, this can be a little more tricky because even in definition, vulnerability is the quality or state of being exposed to the possibility of being attacked or harmed, either physically or emotionally. So that means you're fully aware that at any given moment, someone can pull up on you with one of the weapons from your trauma box and try to harm you with it. And I want you to just be okay with this. Yes, I want you to be okay with that. And here's how you handle the situation. The first thing you need to do is to reclaim your story. You have to disarm the person. It's your trauma. It's your story. So you can easily take it back from them because you have all the details. And you can start to tell your story on your own terms. By doing that, you're not only taking the weapon from them, but you're literally breaking it right in front of their face. Now you're really gonna feel like Superman. You really gonna feel like the man. You gonna really feel like the head what's it? HBIC, however they say it. But yeah, now you're really gonna feel like, the head honcho. However, I have a challenge for you. Because it is very easy to recognize that, okay, this person was coming at me with malicious intent. After I've disarmed you and broken down your weapon in front of you, it's very easy to want to run you out of town. Be like, yo, you came here with some nasty energy. I don't want you out of here. Get the step in. Don't come back anymore. I challenge you to have a conversation with that person. Because most of the time when people are approaching you to try and harm you with their trauma, that means their trauma is kicking their ass. And they need a distraction. They need a break. And the only way they think they can get one is by coming at someone else. So I strongly urge you to have a conversation with that person, because I guarantee you, after you rip up the weapon in their face, they're going to be amazed. They're gonna be like, yo, how did you just do this? How did you just break down this weapon that was supposed to be used to hurt you? And they will have questions, and you can give them the answers. And by giving them the answers, you are now teaching them the process of vulnerability and helping them in their process of healing. And after they learn that and master that, they can teach the next person, and the next person teaches the next person. Now we have a cycle of generational healing. We have cycles of generational understanding and cycles of generational excellence, as opposed to the generational toxicity, the generational curses, and the generational mediocrity that's been beating us over the head for years and years and years. I'm tired of seeing it. I don't want it for myself. I don't want it for my family, my kids, my friends, my loved ones. So I damn sure don't want it for you. So I'm going to teach you how to heal yourself so that you can learn it and then teach the next person. And that is the process. That is all it is with vulnerability. So I greatly urge you guys, you know what I'm saying? Like this knowledge, it took me years to figure this out. And I'm, graciously pack it into a nice little quick video. But I hope you guys are really listening, because this is heavy stuff and this is real shit, honestly. So practice that vulnerability. Learn the process, go through your trauma boxes, and when people naturally try to come at you with your trauma, just handle the situation with grace and love. And I promise you, you will start to see it trickle down into the way we treat each other. I love you guys. I appreciate you guys. And I hope y'all having a blessed day.